The humans avoid war at all costs. Why? Because they're too good at it. It's no fault of my own that I didn't take the rumors seriously. Anyone who'd ever met a human would have trouble believing that the overly friendly, pack-bonding mammals were capable of anything near the level of violence implied. Humans are ferocious creatures, to be sure. I'd had the honor of serving with several on expeditions to uninhabited planets this decade alone. They were forceful and loyal to those they'd claimed as their own, but they weren't territorial or quick to fight. No one in the crew was ever as eager to share their rations as a human, nor was anyone more likely to de-escalate conflict via verbal communication. Humans were peaceful creatures. Their bodies were small and breakable. The years were short. Their indomitable spirit was wasted on their deficient flesh. I wish I could have stayed ignorant of their true capabilities. I wish my crew wasn't attacked by the Yzil before we could even exit orbit. I wish they hadn't swarmed our ship and began tearing through my people. I wish I never saw how effectively the 3 human members of my crew shifted into a completely different mindset. The kind smiles wiped off their faces as they forced me out of the command room and quickly decided which areas of the ship to seal off and which crew members to doom. They broke parts of the vessel to manufacture improvised weapons. The oxygen tanks we carried for our humans were used to flood the engine room despite the risk of a rogue spark setting fire to the whole ship, effectively keeping the enemy away from their goal. 2 of them, Lila and Anita, then pilfered the weapons of my dead guards. Kirill guided them through the comms as they performed what he'd labeled guerrilla warfare on the Yzil for the next 56 hours, at the end of which our invaders simply left. None of the 3 seemed to think much of it. They claimed their much-needed rest while we called for aid and cleared the ship of the toxins they'd released in it. Lila never made it out of the medical wing. No injuries marred her body, but the prolonged effort had made it turn against her, breaking apart so quickly that none of us could administer aid. She was a good researcher. I was fond of her and her incomprehensible insistence that misusing words counted as humor, labeling the offense puns. My people didn't mourn as humans did. I would honor her memory by understanding the people that had forged her into who she was, what she was. I learned a lot of new words that moon cycle, so consumed by the text scattered around my desk that my assistant could barely persuade me to seek sustenance. Genocide, eradication, euthanasia, sterilization of those they consider lesser, psychological warfare, sending their young to battle, using their innocent as shields, destroying their own resources so that enemies can't claim them. None of it aligned with my understanding of humans. They were kind, they were friendly and eager to form alliances, offer aid and establish mutual respect. It was only when I read the tightly woven agreements with which they'd formed their current peace that I understood. Humans weren't experts in war despite their nature, but because of it. Who'd be able to muster such unfathomable cruelty, if not the people who so eagerly turned to kindness? We're fortunate that the humans adopted the odd costume of mourning and elected to abandon the art of warfare. And it was an art, they'd made it such, to preserve their lives. I fear what fate would have befallen the Union had they taken to the stars mere centuries earlier. After all, if they could rain such carnage on their own kind, what atrocities could they inflict on others?